When you're in winter's favorite town, the snow-covered mountains surround you. A historic Main Street charms you. And every day brings a new adventure. Welcome to Park City, Utah. Naturally, winter's favorite town. Join the experience at visitparkcity.com.
A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 124. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran, and today's topic, are you ready for change? Well, people, the world is full of change. That's why some people see the world as being chaotic. It is chaotic. There's things going on all around us. In fact, that's why we have filters, is because we can't possibly deal with everything that's going on. So we selectively filter what we do pay attention to. And herein lies a solution to a lot of our own problems. And that is just focusing on the right filter. Focusing on the right issue, spending your time in the right way. When my wife and I were digging ourselves out of debt, for me, I always tried to focus on, reducing that debt and getting that paid off. So I would ask myself whenever I was making any type of financial decision, does this move me closer or move us closer to paying off our debt, or does it add to the debt? I would ask myself that very simple question, and I'd get a simple answer, and that answer would determine what I would do next. Now, there were circumstances that we would decide to use our emergency fund, and if it was unexpected, we would go outside. We would go outside of the plans and make a decision counter to what we're trying to do. But we always had reason to do it, and it was always very well thought out beforehand. So, you can't always prepare yourself for change, but I think in a lot of cases, if we would just open up our eyes and take a look around and recognize things for what they are, and be open and honest with yourself, I really don't think that you can go wrong. Now, if you've been listening to the show for any time now, you would know that I've been working in corporate America for over 20 plus years. And I've learned during that time, I actually learned very early on in my career, that life neither ends nor begins with insert name of employer here. Now, I learned that back when I worked for the federal government, before I worked for corporate America. But I've always worked for large organizations. And what I've learned is that these organizations exist for a reason. Nonprofits exist for their mission, and for-profit businesses exist to make their shareholders money. This is not a judgment. This is just a fact. Okay? This is the way things are. And when you are hired for a position, you should do that to the best of your abilities. But you don't have to be defined by your role. And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, is that they identify so strongly with what they do for a living that when what they do for a living is threatened because circumstances change, business needs change, the company is going to do what it's best for the company to stay alive. And it feels personal because it's affecting your livelihood and affecting your paycheck, affecting your cash flow. It hurts. But the company's really not doing it for personal reasons. The company's making changes to survive so it can remain alive and serve the interests of its shareholders. So you need to continue what's doing best. You need to continue doing best for you. And I need to ask you, what are you doing to position yourself for inevitable change? Now, if you're concerned about something, there's probably a good reason for it. But chances are, your worst fear is not going to come true. That hardly ever happens. The extreme cases do occur, but in very rare circumstances. That's why they're rare. Chances are, if you take your best case scenario and your worst case scenario, the reality is going to end up somewhere in the middle. So in my circumstance, I know that one day my job will end. And that when my job ends, hopefully I would be offered a severance package. Because if I am offered a severance package, then I will have continued to have money coming in for a certain amount of time before I have to find another job. That could be very nice. Especially considering if I can find another job very quickly, then I still have the severance check, and I have another paycheck coming in. So I have two sources of revenue coming in for a period of months. Now, if I go back to work for the same company, I would lose the severance and I'd be back just, to just one job, one source of income. And that's a lot to be said for that, and that's a good thing. Not getting the severance, moving to a different position, that's also maybe a good thing. These are all different options that are before anyone in this circumstance. So I really have to question, what am I doing to position myself for this inevitable change? Now, in the last episode, I did talk about how I became a notary public, and I intend on becoming a closing agent for financial companies, as a side gig. That doesn't change. And I also became a public arbitrator, and I expect some jobs to roll in for that. So, I've got some things going. So I'm going to continue on with that. And I'm not really sure what else I'll do with my job. But I know that my life neither ends nor begins with insert the name of my employer here. I know that. And I'm okay with that because I actually like my job. I like my team. There's a lot of reasons why I would want to stay. I don't need to burn any bridges. And if my job was to end, that's not because of my doing. That's just the business environment. It's okay. I'm not going to get angry. But if I was feeling some anger towards it, I would change the direction of that anger and I would focus it on something positive. I would rather spend my energy on something productive and something that would move me forward or put me in a position that I could leverage myself or leverage my situation better than, to just be pissing people off or just to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to live my life that way. So this is about creating opportunity for yourself and becoming a force in your own change. Now, you can certainly wait until, and we can certainly be blindsided by things, not seeing things coming that totally rock our world. That, that is a swift kick in the ass, really. And this podcast is about being aware of what's going on and being aware of that potential kick coming your way. What are you going to do, to protect yourself and your interests? When we go through hard times, it does teach us a lot about ourselves. And sometimes we have to go through that experience. But it doesn't mean we have to go through this experience. If we can try to educate ourselves while times are good, then oftentimes the hard times won't be as difficult to navigate. We'll be better prepared for those hard times. And we'll get through them faster and easier than if we didn't. So, when it comes to how you want to live your life, I do not let others or my situation define it for me. I want to have control over that. I want to have control over my life. And ultimately, if I'm not happy with something and I identify it as a problem, I'm going to work towards a solution. That's what I do. And that's why I actually have this podcast. It's because I want to help you be true to who you are and help you overcome your unique circumstances. And get through this, get your ass moving towards a life on your terms. I'm going to leave it at that. But I have faith in you, and I know that you can do this. Please visit my website at aswiftkickintheass.com. You're going to be seeing a lot of changes coming to the website. As I get time, I'm trying to implement changes. But I really want to build a community that we can, all benefit from the power of the band, by banding together. And it's evident to me that people who listen to this podcast, they want to get their ass moving. They want to control more aspects of their life. I know I sure do. And you've been along with me on this journey, and I appreciate that. And I want to give back. And I want to help all of you live on your terms. And through that, I think we all make this world a better place. So until the next time, this is your host, John Curran. This is your podcast, A Swift Kick in the Ass. Until later, peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.